Yes, that's right, we are back with the Christmas special. Coming at you with a ho ho ho. It's time to charge your glasses with Christmas cheer. My sack is overflowing with comments to get through. So without further ado, let's take a look at comment number 1. And this one's from Wendy Ambuster, and it reads, I'm a teacher in the United States, so I have my summers off and I take multi-week skateboarding trips to visit skate parks by my favourite builders, Evergreen Skateparks. Do you have a dream skate park that you would like to visit one day? Yes, that's a great question. And I have to say, I've got loads of different spots that I'd love to visit. Top of my list would be the Vans Combi Pool at the Vans Skate Park in America. Now, I think this is closed to the public, but I have been seeing quite a few clips coming out of there of late. I know they built a reverse version at the Huntington Beach skate park, so perhaps that's one I could get involved with. I'd also love to have the opportunity to skate a real backyard swimming pool. And I know those also are hard to get into, but if there was any way or anybody that knows of a backyard swimming pool I could have a go in, I'd get really turned on to find out exactly how hard it is to skate a real pool. I'd also like to skate the Tony Hawk vert ramp, and again, I know that's a closed private facility, so it would take a bit of good fortune to get a go on that bad boy. But any of those would fill me with joy. Okay, the next comment is from Fast Sannies, and it reads, Frontside John, a breakdown of how to break down the way of the devil from kick turns to stalls. Yes, that's another great question, and I'd say that frontside for most people is a little bit awkward. When I was starting out, I couldn't get the hang of frontside at all. I found it too scary to sort of fall backwards and be unsighted for a re-entry. And I remember the way I attacked it was to just do little mini frontside kick turns and keep on building up the speed and the height. And then eventually try and get the truck to scrape the coping for a little slash grind. Then I found with a bit more practice, I could get a bit more speed and get up on the top of the coping, try and get a few frontside axle stalls and try and work on the re-entry unsighted. Then eventually I took all those stalls and turned them into grinds. And nowadays I have to say the frontside 50-50 grind is one of my favourite things to do. But it did take a long time to build up to it. Now I've recorded quite a few videos on the process. I reckon there's an awful lot you could break down about doing this. And I think I started really small and really sort of slow and then just built it up. And I think that's the main way I managed to break into doing frontside stuff. Okay, the next comment is from Sunrise Sessions, and it reads, 2 questions here. 1, how do you deal with the fear? For me, going surfing, I'm just stoked. Going skateboarding, I'm stoked and scared to get injured. It's addictive and a potential hazard for my other sports. It's a mind. Well, you know the rest. Number 2, have you tried the independent stage 4s? I really like them. I've put a fair bit of thought into managing my own fear, as it seems to be the limiting factor for the speed of my progression. I've done quite a few videos on managing fear, and I think for me it's just a case of going through the motions and doing all the preparation I need to do to get myself to a position where I'm willing to commit to whatever trick I'm trying to learn. Now, part of the preparations could be putting on some pads that I trust or finding the right spot or transition that's friendly enough. It can also be just practicing all of the skills that I might need in a safe way and then stringing them together. But I think there's no substitute for going at it, making mistakes and trying not to go for a burden and trying to make it not too emotional. I find that whatever I do, if I'm not ready to commit, my body and mind just won't do it no matter how hard I try. So I have to do the correct amount of repetitions for me, and then at some point something will click. It will feel like it's an okay risk to step back onto the board, and then 1 or 2 things will happen. It'll either all hell will break loose and I'll sort of end up in an emotional heap, or I'll semi-make it or I'll make it. But I do get an awful lot of stoke when I finally commit to it, because I know then it's only a matter of time until I'm going to eventually make it. Okay, the next comment is sort of linked, and it's from Adam Damsk, and it reads, Hi John, great stuff. I've been following you for a few years now. Just want to ask, how did you deal with a lack of progress before you came to this skill level? Did you have any? I'm lucky enough to have a skate park 15 minutes drive from me. I can go there in the mornings and I can be there quite often. I've been skating for 2 years and recently my progress stopped. It's discouraging to go back to the skate park and do the same thing over and over. I can watch 100 videos 100 times, but when I'm going back on the floor, nothing works out. Yeah, I reckon this is an area that probably 99% of skateboarders can relate to. I'm currently going through a bit of a trough and I'm finding it hard to progress to the next level. And I think that's because most of the tricks I'm thinking of in my mind have quite a sort of high risk of an emotional dismount, and that's holding me back. Now, I motivate myself in several different ways. One way is to record a video, and the video channel has been very kind to me over the years because it's provided a lot of motivation to push through barriers. I find that videoing the progress and then making a video about it sort of is a self-fulfilling prophecy. And without that process, I probably wouldn't push through and chance my arm. I also find that progression is such a fun thing for me. It really gets me stoked. And that sort of helps me to forge on. Sometimes I just change tack if I'm stale in a certain area. At the moment, I've been doing a lot of transition skating, so I'm really enjoying getting in on skating curbs. I recently went to the Portsmouth skate park that had a really nice curb, and I had half an hour of joy trying to board slide on that one. So sometimes mixing it up can also help. Okay, the next comment is from Sideways Fun, and it reads, "Keep being awesome. Favourite skate spots in the UK after concrete waves?" I really like the skate spots in Wales. I have to say that pool in Tredegar, oh my gosh, I really enjoy going there. I also like Ramp World in Cardiff, and there's other skate spots dotted around the UK I really enjoy going to. Where I used to live in Poole in Dorset, there's two of my favourite skate parks of all time, and that is Prevail Skate House and also Duck Lane Skate Park. It's sort of always fun to get back there and revisit those, and it's a good measure of my progression because I can remember all the things I used to do when I skated those skate parks, and then I can measure myself and see if there's any new bits that I can add on. Okay, the next comment is from Camera App 8210, and it reads, "Here's a question for you, John. Do you think when doing frontside scratch slash grinds on a half pipe, does the likelihood of sticking or hanging up increase with the smaller wheel you ride?" And I'm not entirely sure what the answer is to that one. I would imagine that the bigger the wheel is, the more likely it is to grip onto the cope and the more likely you are to hang up. But thinking about it, that bigger wheel could also roll over the coping a little bit easier. So with the smaller wheel, maybe it could hang up a little bit easier. I find it easy to hang up with any old wheel. And I think the smallest wheel I've ridden is a 54mm and the largest is a 58. And with both of those, I've managed to hang up and come off of frontside slash grinds. So I guess it's just a case of really keeping that heel side wheel engaged and that heel side pressure on the back foot when doing the slash grind. I think that's the most likely thing to stop you from hanging up and alleviating that pressure from the toe side wheel that could grip on. Okay, so we're into our final comment, and this one's sort of linked. It's from Atom9168, and it reads, "Hi John, what do you think about the Nano Cubic 97As? Have you ever considered buying them? Thanks in advance, great skater." And yeah, I reckon anything that Andy Anderson's had his hand in, I'm interested in taking a look at. And I really like the idea of the Nano Cubics with the design that sort of covers up the nut and also two different edges that are good for locking in and also good for slapping in. It all seems to make a lot of sense to me. The only reason I haven't pulled the trigger on buying a set is that I'm really happy with my Spitfires. They seem to do everything I like them to do, and I like to sort of standardize my equipment and then blame myself. However, I am pretty bad at staying focused, and I do succumb to having new gear all of the time. So I think if there's any way to get my hands on a set of the Nano Cubics, I'd definitely be game for having a go and seeing if they could provide that little extra 5% that I'm always looking for. Well, that's it for this video, and that was a lot of fun. Many thanks to all of you for tuning in this year. I've had an absolute blast making the videos. I'd love to hear about any tricks that you're going to be getting going for the new year, and also any tricks you think I should try and learn. I'd also love to hear about any videos you think I should make, and you can leave all that in the comments below. Also, if you're new to the channel, feel free to hit subscribe. We've now got over 18,000 subscribers, and the channel's knocking on the door of having 3 million views, which is beyond my wildest dreams. So thanks very much for tuning in, and I look forward to making it bigger and better for 2025. As ever, my name's been John Bishop, and I'll see you next time. Ho, ho, ho.